Taiwan's new President William Lai has pledged to defend the island's democracy, calling on China to end its military intimidation. In his inauguration speech, Mr. Lai also directly addressed the threat of war, describing Taiwan as an indispensable element for global security and prosperity. China claims Taiwan as its own and has not ruled out using force to bring it under Chinese control. CNA's Victoria Jen reports from Taipei.
Receiving the presidential seal from the legislative speaker in a low-key indoor ceremony, William Lai was officially sworn in as Taiwan's 16th president. And then the pomp began. From the marching military band to the iconic Taiwanese opera, a series of performances marked his installation. President Lai later addressed spectators outside the presidential office, including 50 foreign delegations. Even as he warned against the threat of war, in his half-hour-long inaugural speech, President Lai has called on China to pursue peaceful cross-strait relations as he reiterated his predecessor's policy stance.
两岸的未来对世界的局势有决定性的影响。承接民主化台湾的我们，将是和平的舵手。新政府将秉持4个坚持：不卑不亢，维持现状。
The Four Commitments policy, formulated by former President Tsai Ing-wen, said Taiwan and China are not subordinate to each other, and that the future of Taiwan must be decided by the Taiwanese.
我希望中国正视中华民国存在的事实，尊重台湾人民的选择。 拿出诚意，和台湾民选合法的政府，在对等尊严的原则下，以对话取代对抗，交流取代围堵，进行合作。
President Lai is taking helm at a time when China's growing military assertiveness in the Taiwan Strait and elsewhere in the region has caused concerns among countries. Some consider the Taiwan Strait a dangerous flashpoint. It doesn't help that Beijing sees Mr. Lai as a dangerous separatist. Still, the general public hopes that the new leader will usher in a new dawn for cross-strait ties.
应该要走那个协商的方向去谈这一件事情啦，不要以恶势力，好，然后就是说以他就是最大，然后再来欺压我们这台湾的一个小岛。
应该是说哈，对岸应该要施之善意啦，因为我们台湾应该是随时可以谈的但是它就是季节，所以这方面应该是说两边都要施之善意来共同来谈一个比较和平的这个方案出来，然后两岸都一定要安全要繁荣这样子。
3 out of 5 Taiwan leaders produced through direct presidential elections that began in 1996 are from the DPP. But waiting for the new president will be the reality of a hung parliament, the first since 2008. The opposition, led by the Beijing-friendly KMT, will likely make it difficult, if not impossible, for his government to sign into law any new policies. Apart from Legislative Speaker Han Kuo-yu, only one other KMT lawmaker attended Monday's ceremony. Some of the most urgent tasks that Mr. Lai would need their support include labor insurance reforms, education, and youth housing. Victoria Jen, CNA, Taipei.
Following President Lai's inauguration, Beijing says Taiwan's internal politics did not change, quote, and I quote them, the fact that the island remains part of China. It's warning that efforts towards its independence are, again, quote, dead end. For more, Olivia Siong joins us from Beijing. Olivia, how did President Lai's inauguration play out in China?
Wei Su, amid the pomp and pageantry that was happening in Taiwan, here on the mainland, it was largely silent. We didn't see any reports on local media about proceedings, and when I looked at Chinese social media platform Weibo, we saw that the comments were restricted regarding this topic of William Lai's inauguration, pointing to the sensitivities. I also spoke to locals here, asking them if they were following what was happening in Taiwan, and many of them said that they were not, but they had this to say about how they hope to see cross-Strait relations move forward. Have a listen.
我觉得还是要坚持和平啊，因为和平来之不易嘛。而且台湾本来就是中国的，这毋庸置疑。
我不太希望我们变成俄乌或者是中东的那种关系。我觉得可能长辈，或者说有一些人，他可能对于台湾的态度是更加强硬的。对于我们年轻人来讲，没有那么大的一个。 就是症结，就是心结吧。就可能对于我们来讲，我如果非常强大，我现在是世界第一，你跟不跟我在一起，其实，都 OK 了。
其实对于我们年轻人来讲，就是因为台湾的流行文化比较发达吧，当时，然后可能会更多的去产生一些想交流的想法。
Well, hours later in the afternoon, we started to see the official response from Beijing authorities come in. Analysts I spoke to said the response largely in line with expectations and comparable to how Beijing reacted when Tsai Ing-wen came into power and was re-elected in 2016 and 2020. Although it did say, analysts did say that the statements from Beijing did reflect their growing concern as William Lai has talked about deepening relations with the international community. We heard from China's Foreign Affairs Minister Wang Yi saying that the One China principle is the anchor of peace in the Taiwan Strait, also emphasizing that there is international support for the One China principle. The Taiwan Affairs Office also saying that Mr. Lai, in his speech, stubbornly continues to attempt to rely on external forces and seeks weapons to seek independence, pointing to perhaps a slightly more forceful reaction from Beijing, but certainly pointing to tensions that lie ahead. Wei Su.
All right, Olivia, you're preempting my next question. These tensions that lie ahead, what does this spell in terms of Beijing's moves, say, the next few weeks, the next few months, the next few years of Mr. Lai's term in office?
Well, Wei Su, there's the short and long-term response, but it does seem that heightened tensions that we have seen in the last 8 years since the DPP came to power are going to remain. This morning, as the inauguration was ongoing, China's Commerce Ministry announcing that more companies were going to be sanctioned for their involvement with U.S. arms sales to Taiwan. Also, we saw those reports about the Chinese military continuing to fly their warplanes in the Taiwan Strait, and the Taiwan Affairs Office here on the mainland saying that the cross-Straits situation is severe and complex, putting it down to the DPP not wanting to acknowledge the 1992 consensus. Observers I spoke to say that Mr. Lai taking it a step further than Ms. Tai by not even mentioning the 1992 talks, and that could prove to be difficult as Beijing continues to have many other levers, not just on the military front, but also on the economic front as well. Wei Su.
Thanks. Olivia Siong reporting live to us there from Beijing. Now, we have much more on the Taiwan inauguration of its president with an expert later on this bulletin.